Hi everybody, welcome to our week number 3 live stream for my intro psych classes. I hope everyone is doing well. Hard to believe that we're like 2 days away from Halloween. It's definitely coming fast. It feels like the fall with these like Santa Ana kind of winds and hot weather that we're having. Definitely feeling very fall-ish. So I hope everyone is doing well and hanging in there. We are officially in our second chunk of the class. So we're in weeks 3 and 4 as of Monday morning. Weeks 1 and 2 are in the books. They're done. They're gone. I want to give you a little bit of feedback about those first 2 weeks, and then we'll focus on what we have going on this week. So if we go back weeks 1 and 2, I saw a lot of really wonderful things. A lot of great job on the discussions, really great job on the exam. I really would like to encourage you to use the first 2 weeks as a learning opportunity. So if you are happy with how you did overall, then keep doing the same thing. If you wish you had done a little bit better, now is a great time to kind of change things up. I even have a little like self assessment for you to kind of help you think about that a little bit this week as we move into the second fourth of the class. But in general, try and use it as a learning opportunity. So if you missed some points on the discussion, give me a little bit more this week and next week. If you missed some points on the exam, maybe study and prepare a little differently. But a lot of you should be patting yourselves on the back and feeling really good about how you're doing. Again, I saw a lot of great things. So with the discussions, a couple of things in general. So just kind of a comment or two for each one. For discussion number 1, the biggest place that I saw people struggle was not really defining nature and nurture very much. A lot of you reacted to the quote, but there were some people who kind of forgot to describe what nature is and what nurture is, or were a little off on that. In general, better to give me too much than not enough. Some of you just, I said I wanted a little bit more. So make sure that you elaborate in your responses. Don't forget to also reply to a classmate. Okay, so I know that's only worth 2 points, but those are kind of like a easy 2 points to get. So you want to make sure you're always doing that with every discussion to get those 2 points. With discussion number 2, a lot of really fun ideas for like research projects. Very creative and very like interesting. The biggest reason people lost points was just not really going into enough detail. A lot of you were like, how would you examine it? Like I wanted you to think of what type of research method, and some of you kind of didn't really go into that quite enough. So again, just kind of elaborating in your responses. Don't forget to reply to a classmate to get those 2 points of credit as well. For discussions 3 and 4, discussion 3 was related to neurons. The biggest reason I saw people lose points here was just not going into enough on how neurons communicate with each other. I was looking for you to mention something related to like electrochemical communication. That was the Twitch extra credit question that week as well to kind of help you with that. But the electrical component and the chemical component, or just again, just not quite elaborating enough in your responses. And then finally, discussion number 4, which was related to sensation and perception. And this one related to smell memories and your little experiment. So this one, it was this question right here that some people struggled with. You know, what are smell memories and why do they occur? I wanted you to talk about like the elements of conditioning that are involved, the parts of the brain like the amygdala and so on, like all of the different pieces that are involved with them, and kind of elaborate, and then how you could use that knowledge. A lot of you said, well, now that I know they're connected, I can kind of use that in my life. But I wanted you to give me like a specific application of how you could connect two things together to maybe help yourself out in some way. So overall, again, with the discussions, I saw a lot of really like wonderful things. If you found that you missed a couple of points, or I said like give me a little bit more, try and do a little bit more this week in hopes that that will help you. A lot of you did fantastic on the first exam as well. The average amount of time was right around an hour, which tells me that you had enough time with the exam for the most part, or like the vast majority of you did. There were a lot of like really high, like 90% grades, 90, like 8, 99%. There were a couple of lower scores too, but the average was right around an A. So again, tells me a lot of you were prepared and did great. If you wish you had done more, make sure you're doing the study guide next time around. If you type or write that out and have it in front of you, that will go a long way to really helping you be successful. A lot of you did the extra credit questions over the first 2 weeks, which is fantastic as well. And if you're just joining me now for the first time on here, or you're watching this later as a recording, you can definitely pick up with that now, and those points will help you. They just go on top of your grade in general. So this week we move on to week number 3, and then next week will be week 4. So everything from week 3 and 4 will be due by Sunday, November 9th at 11:59 p.m. So next week I'll focus on week 4 and the exam and all of that, but this week we'll focus on week number 3 since that's where we are at. So two kind of interesting core topics this week, consciousness and learning. Right, consciousness dealing with like sleep and dreams and drugs and hypnosis, and learning a lot of like conditioning, looking at like classical and operant conditioning and so on. So don't forget with every chapter to do those 3 things, like always. Read the chapter in the ebook, read through the lecture, and watch the lecture video. And when you're reading through the lecture, don't forget that there are 5 tabs. So you have the objectives and summary, you have the beyond the book, in pop culture, key terms, and application. And there's a lot of little videos in here, like this application one will help you with the discussion this week related to dreams. So anytime I give you a video, make sure you're watching it and kind of, like going through those. That's going to help. There's also some fun videos here about inattentional blindness, the different stages of sleep, and so on. I know Canvas is having some problems with their like images this week, but it looks like hopefully everything will be okay there. So make sure you read through all of that, click on anything that's in there, watch all the videos, all of it together should give you a good understanding of the material. You have 2 discussions this week, like always, discussion 5 and 6. Discussion 5 is related to dreams. As always, you have my instructions at the top, followed by my video. Don't forget to really elaborate. Think about them as like little mini papers or essays, if that helps you in terms of being detailed in your responses. Don't forget to also reply to a classmate to get those 2 points. But with this one, you are reading this little article about dreams, and then you're going to, and also in the video, I gave you some tips for remembering your dreams, so hopefully that will help. But you're going to select a dream that you had recently and something that you remember and don't mind sharing. So if it's like inappropriate, you don't want to share it, wait for another one. If it's not recent, but you remember it, that's totally fine. If you don't remember your dreams, you could always ask somebody else for a dream, and that would be totally fine as well. But you're going to describe your dream, and then you're going to interpret it from a minimum of 2 different theories that we covered in the article right here and in the book, right? So you're going to take your dream and kind of highlight through it and then explain 2 different dream theories and then how they would interpret your dream and where it came from. Make sure that you really describe the theories that you selected in order to receive full credit. So like if you choose that dreams are an extension of waking life, make sure you really highlight and explain what that theory means and then also connect it to your dream. And then finally, you're going to talk about why do you personally think we dream? Which of the theories do you think are accurate? Do you have your own theory? What do you think dreams mean? And so on. So I look forward to reading about your dreams. Don't forget, again, to really explain the theory and how it connects to your dreams. That's what's worth the most points. The next one, discussion number 6, is all about learning and conditioning. Again, as always, you have my instructions followed by my video. So don't forget to watch the video so I give you all the tips and highlights for that discussion, and then be detailed, all the same things as we just said for discussion number 5. This one, you're going to watch this short little clip from The Office, and then you're going to think about the content that we covered and explain how Jim was able to condition Dwight. Be sure to reference the appropriate terminology from the module whenever possible. You're going to identify the US, UR, CS, and CR from the clip. So you're kind of describing what happened and identifying the different components. And then finally, other than amusing pranks, describe one way that you could use classical conditioning either on yourself or someone else in your life as like an application. I want you to be really specific. Make sure your example is classical conditioning. So you're going to describe to me like how could you use it? What are the components? If you use anything like reinforce or punish, it's probably operant conditioning. So just be really aware of that as you're going through. But definitely give me an example and explain how you would use it in your life. Don't forget to also reply to a classmate to get that peer response and those 2 points that are available. The other little component that you have this week, this is your first of these, you have a couple, is you have a little self-assessment. And this is where 5 points, this is my chance to kind of check in with you and give you an opportunity to consider your progress, your grades, your approach to the class so far. It's 5 short questions, no time limit, so take your time. But it's a little survey just to kind of get you to think about, like, is what you're doing working? Is there anything you want to change going into this next unit now that we've finished the first 2 weeks? And so again, be honest, take your time with it. It is worth 5 points. So make sure you do that, but I'm not looking for anything in particular. It's completely for you just to evaluate your progress in the class so far. I will, of course, post the recording of this a little bit later. And I do have a couple of reminders and the extra credit to give you. So the first one, I typed this out earlier, right? So don't forget to double check your subscription status. If you're watching this as a recording later, you can still earn extra credit for joining me. You just need to be subscribed on Twitch so I can monitor your attendance on there. So don't forget to double check that every week. It's free to do. It just takes a couple of steps to set it up. The other reminder I have for you, if you're looking ahead, next week is November. How wild is that? November 5th. Our next Twitch live stream will be on Wednesday, November 5th at 11:45 a.m. Hard to believe that we will be in November next week, but we will be. And then finally, let me give you the extra credit question, and I'll show you where you can find the clip and where to answer it. So this is the week number 3, Twitch extra credit, week number 3, Twitch extra credit question. So this one's related to classical conditioning. There's a little clip in the lecture on called the attack of the quack. And you're going to watch that clip and identify the US, UR, CS, and CR in the clip. So let me show you where you can find that. If you're on Canvas, it's in the lecture for learning. So click on Chapter 6 Lecture Learning right here. And then on the last page, it's where it says Application. There's a little video right here that's loading about a prank. And this is it's a little boy brushing his teeth. It's only a minute and a half, but you're going to watch this video, which you should have done anyway as part of your reading. But watch the little video. And then under week number 6, you'll click on, not week 6, week 3, right here, chapter 6. You'll click on extra credit number 3, and that's where you can answer the question. So you'll click Start Assignment. And then in the box, you'll identify the US, UR, CS, and CR and type your response. Okay, and then when you're ready, you'll hit submit for your confetti burst and those rocket ship gnomes. I couldn't tell. They look like little gnomes with hats. So this is worth 2 points. And again, you can do this every week. It'll add up to about 16 points of extra credit. Help you with an exam score or a missed discussion or some points off a discussion. But I hope you take advantage of this. Again, if you're watching this later as a recording, as long as you're subscribed on Twitch, you can still totally do that. And if you're joining me now, then you're good to go. So those are the things for this week, chapters 5 and 6, discussions 5 and 6, and the little self-assessment. And if you were interested, the extra credit. Other than that, kind of short and sweet, we're at about like 20 minutes or so. I want to wish you all a happy Halloween if you celebrate Halloween. I have been eating way too much candy. I probably should be over Halloween by the amount of candy I've had. But I hope you all have a wonderful Halloween. Stay safe. Hopefully it'll be a little cooler by Friday because it is hot today. But I hope you all have a wonderful week, that you're doing well. I'll hang out for a few minutes. If you do have any questions for me, I'm more than happy to answer them. Otherwise, I'm going to put in the chat, thank you all for joining me. And I hope you have a wonderful week. Have a wonderful, I can't talk and type, wonderful week. Right, so again, thank you all for joining me. Those of you who are here with me live or watching it later still, I hope you have a wonderful week. Enjoy your holiday, and I'll see you next week in November, right? So I'm going to minimize my video, but I'll hang out for a little bit. If you do have any questions for me, you can put them in the chat. Otherwise, thank you again, and I hope you all are doing well. Thank you as well. Have a wonderful week. And again, happy Halloween if you celebrate. Stay safe. Otherwise, I'll see you all again next week. And I am still here if any of you have any questions. You too, you too. All right.